treasure this little noisemaker from New Year's Eve, 1972. And I love that my mother, my Irish mother, wrote on the back. 1972, it was a very good year. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, 4 exclamation points. Yeah, is that a noisemaker or an annoyance? Right now it's kind of an annoyance. It is the new year and I have new hammockers reaching out to me. So I got 5, 6, 7 gaffes, faux pas, I wouldn't want to call them mistakes, just maybe unknowns that new hammockers face. And this is a hard reality, new hammockers and old hammockers, like me. It's a whole different beast for something that's so simple, it's very complex. So here we go. With just a few gaffes or faux pas or misbeliefs or myths or hard truths that new hammockers have to face. I feel it's best that it's me telling you, Shug, of the third person. I don't want to sound like I'm humble bragging here, but I've been doing these hammock videos since 2007, so do I know a thing or two? No, not really. No, I'm always learning, just like you're going to be. Okay, this is probably the one that I see people get frustrated with the most. I'd call this the number one, and that is trying to learn everything about, with, and for your hammock all at one time. Have patience. Learn to hang the hammock correctly first. You know, you've got to wait on all your underquilts and your insulation and your top quilt or sleeping bag and your tarp. Some people have never pitched tarp, so that's a whole new thing for them. They just always slept in a tent that had a rain fly on it. So my recommendation, focus on learning to hang your hammock correctly. I'll have a link below, my Hammock 101, that'll cover the aspects of correctly hanging your hammock. Correct as I know it, correct as I do it. You're probably going to do your own thing. You know, there's no for sure in this hammock world. But get started on it, learn to hang the hammock first, discover a few things about it, and move on to your tarp or your insulation or to your tree selection or to your weights. Or, okay, let me just get to the next thing. Thinking that you don't need insulation. Well, you know, I just sleep on the ground most of the time like a cowboy. Oh, there really still cowboys out there? This ain't Lonesome Dove. Yeah, sure, you can put your bedroll and your blanket on the ground and go ahead and do that. But if you're in a hammock, and you know, just test this, even if you're in a beach hammock, on, let's say, a day where it's like 80 degrees, 79, 77, any degrees you want to do. If you lay there long enough, you're going to feel a little cooler on your buttocks and back than you are on the rest of you that may have the sunshine on you, because you got that air flowing beneath you. So if you're going to camp in a hammock, you may feel fine when you first crawl into sleep, and you may be great for a few hours after that. But about 1 to 3 in the morning, you're going to be cold. Oh yeah, you're going to be a little chilly. Unless you were some superhuman being that maybe, you know, grew up in Siberia or something and can handle this kind of cold. But I live in Minnesota, and I will tell you, you're going to be a little chilly. So throw your camping pad in there, a closed cell pad, a blow-up pad, just let about half the air out. I have links down below on pad intel, so if you choose, take a look at those. You can put a military poncho around the outside. An underquilt protector won't really hold in that much heat for you. That's a different story. You know, put a tiger skin in there. Put a bear rug. You know, use a caribou pelt. Use your deer pelt. Use a wool blanket. You're going to need something under you. How do I know this? Because I've been doing this since 2007. And let me tell you this. When you're starting in hammocks, man, it is the best time. Do all the experimenting you can or want. Don't ask for anybody's permission. If you think it'll work and you want to try it, try it. Will it work or fail? Make a note at the end. It may work for you, it may not. But this beginning journey in your hammocks is so fun because you'll just find it's complicated, and if you're the kind of person that likes that kind of complication and aggravation, like that noisemaker, bring it in, seek it, hold it close to your chest and enjoy it. That's what you want. That's what you're in this for. No shame. You know, go back to your ground sleeping or tarp pitching or whatever. I had some of the best time of my life doing that. But maybe for the new year, you've taken on something new. So experiment away, but you're going to need some insulation. That's all I got to say about that. I know you don't believe me, but you are. Now listen up. This is a complex one because normally when people get into hammocks, I find they're often coming from ultralight camping where they're doing everything. They're counting grams. They are as light as they can be. Somehow they've gotten fixated on a hammock and they think they can go as light. There's some variables there. The materials of the hammock, what type of suspension are you going to use? Dyneema instead of whoopee slings or straps. The length of your hammock, the width, where are you willing to compromise? Where do you live? What are your seasons like? If you're in a warm area, well, you don't have to carry as much insulation for your clothes or your hammock or whatever, so you can probably get your tent and hammock weight. The hammock's always going to be just a little bit heavier, but you're going to get some comfort and longer sleep. I sleep 10 to 12 hours in my hammock. I normally slept 4 to 5 in my tent. But you can get pretty close. Now, if it's winter here like Minnesota, you're going to have to bring a lot more hammock stuff to stay warm. So is your hammock going to add a little bit more weight? Probably a little, but you can get it darn close. And I think I have a video below about that. Let's check that out too, because I've really done a lot of videos. In fact, I'm probably speaking out of school here. I just think I've done a video on it. I may or may not have. So we're going to learn together. But if it's down below, then we learn this together. But you can get close. So don't worry about that. Just still enjoy the journey. Check it out, figure it out, your pack weight. You might have to invest in some new gear that's lighter. You can't bring that old synthetic sleeping bag from 1977 and that bag weighs 19 pounds and it's this big. Oh, you can't do that. And you're probably not doing that anyway. And are you? And if you are, my compliments to you. Yeah. I need you to look me in the eye here. You're going to have patience. Now, I'm a man with no patience. But if it's something fun and new and something that can liven up my backpacking, then I can find the time to gather a little zen and patience for that. Just a little bit. Be patient with this hammock journey. You're not going to get it all at once. Let's go back to the top. The first thing I talked about, learn to hang the hammock correctly first. But don't get too locked in on your tree spacing. We'll come to that in a second, all right? There's nothing perfect in this world. Just think back to your tent camping and your tarp camping or whatever kind of camping you do. It's rarely el perfecto. There's always something. Usually it's more good than bad. And if it's more bad than good, well, that's on you. So have patience with it and just don't try to learn everything at once. I've had more people get frustrated, almost on the verge of tears with me. They're just knotted up and they just can't get everything together at once. And you got to slow down. Just get it a piece at a time. I wish that I could be brand new to it again and go right back to the beginning, experimenting, cobbling things together. But just enjoy it. You only get to be new at it once. So enjoy your journey and just take in every moment of it. Because in 18 years, 15 years, 10 years, you're going to, well, I'm an expert now. In fact, I'm a little bit burned out on it. Familiarity breeds contempt. I can't camp all the time. Camp. Back, walk. You're going to look back and you're going to want to start over. You are. Okay. This comes up a lot. So you're learning hammocks. You go somewhere like hammockforums.net or check out Derek Hansen's book, The Ultimate Hang. Now that is a fairly thick book, illustrated. It will cover more than you even need as a beginner. So go easy on it. It's a great book. I will link that and Hammock Forums in the bottom. You're going to see pictures. You're going to get information. You're going to watch videos like mine, Shug Emery on YouTube. And feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell and thumb me up or thumb me down or thumb me sideways or thumb me in a V or thumb me like a phoenix rising. But along the way, you're going to see numbers, length of hammocks, 10-foot hammock, 9-foot hammock, 11-foot hammock, 12-foot hammock. Is it 63 inches wide? Is it 72 inches wide? Is it 57 inches wide? What's the fabric? On and on. And you're going to see a lot of numbers about the perfect tree spacing, 12 to 17 feet. But that depends on your suspension, the length of your hammock, where you are. Don't get too caught up on that. Look at the numbers. take it in a little bit, but remember this, when you actually go out backpacking, you're never going to find trees that have that kind of spacing. You're always, unless just maybe there's 7% of the time you walk right up and there's 4 or 5 just perfect trees, perfect distance, nothing growing between them, no widowmakers hanging overhead. They're not in a windy area. They're not out there just in the sun. I mean, that will happen sometimes, but for the most part, you're going to have to hunt around and make some compromises. You may see the perfect trees over here. Oh, yeah, over there. That's my kitchen. And my wife's kitchen, too. There may be all kind of just stuff growing between those trees. Other times, you know, one tree, you'll see them, one tree's alive, one tree's dead. Always check your trees. Look up. Is there things growing? Anything look weird about that tree? I have some information on tree health below and what to look for. That's down there too. So I'm going to have a lot of videos down below that will reference these points I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm doing these hand motions like this so much. I'm trying not to look at my viewfinder and into the lens, and all I can see is my hands doing that. That was cool, man. I felt like I was at a rave. In fact, when you get in a hammock, you'll have a new hobby of driving along. Go, man, there's perfect trees over there. Oh, look at the perfect trees. Oh, there's a perfect hang there. I still do it all the time. But when you're actually backpacking, you're going to get choosier. And sometimes you're just not going to find them. And you'll have to hang a really tight hang. But you know what? It's all part of the backpacking game. And enjoy it. It's fun. You have to improvise out there a little bit. What are you doing? You're walking, you got food in your pack, you're sleeping in the woods. Hopefully this is not a survival situation. You're choosing to do this. You're doing this for fun. You're not out there fishing for sturgeon. You're not out there laying railroad trestles. You're backpacking. Enough said on that. Just one final thing. And I see this a lot. Like I'll be at a hang and a new hammocker, and I love this. They'll come over to me. Hi, Sugar. Would you come over and look at my rig and just make sure everything's okay? All right, if I must. And normally I only look for a glaring error, like this one. I'll oftentimes see that their hammock is hung upright, but their tarp is not centered over it. So they have a little bit of their hammock sticking out the end of the tarp there. That felt weird doing that. And you know, if it were to rain, the rain's going to get on there and it's going to get in. So you have to get, you know, you have to learn to center your tarp over your hammock. And I do have a video about that. And this I know because I remember making this video. And that's down below. What'll happen is you'll have, let's say, an 11-foot hammock and an 11-foot tarp. Now, if you have a ridgeline, and I want you, ridgeline is getting ahead of the game here a little bit on this new stuff, but I'm going to put a video down below anyway, because I have ridgelines, which is just a cord from the ends of your hammocks and keeps it in a certain swag like this. Well, we call it a sag. I don't know. It just, swag seems fancier. And by the way, I have some Shook swag, and that's down below, so check it out if you want. Buy a piece, or a sticker, or a mug, or a hat, or a shirt, or something. Enliven me. I retired. I could use the money. This is my passive income. It's the only job I have, so I depend on you. So that'll set your sag, but what it'll do is pull the ends of your hammock in a little bit. So if you've got an 11-foot hammock, an 11-foot tarp, you'll have roughly 6 inches on each end, and if you're ever in doubt, just before you go to sleep, bring your tarp down as low as you can. That'll get it down closer to the ends of your hammock. And the great thing about a tarp, and I'll just leave you with this, you don't have to set it and forget it. However you set it up in the day when you first get to camp, you can alter all that before you crawl in for your long night slumber. Bring it down or raise it up if the weather's good. But if it's getting a little cool, looks like rain, bring it down, pitch your sides down. It'll warm you up. All you're doing is loosening up your lines going out and pulling your stake. You don't even have to pull them usually. You just kind of lower the thing and then just kind of tie a new knot or whatever your system is. I just pull the stake up and pull it back out. But your tarp is adjustable at all times, and don't ever forget that. That's the beauty of a tarp. So these are just a few of the things that I see with the brand new hammockers, and it's that time of year when people got an Eno, and they're so excited but perplexed, but they want to go to the woods and lay in this hanging bag of cloth. Yes, they will, you know. They'll ask Shug, you know. Does he know? Oh, no. The hammock rules.
That was really hard to say because I got kind of a head cold going right now. So my natural voice will be to talk like this to you right now. Well, baby, Austin, can we take the 7?